Welcome back to the Sanders Kitchen. I'm Mike. I'm glad you're with me today. Before we get started and tell you what we're going to be making, I just wanted you to know, I know it's been 2 weeks, but if you look around, Pam, zoom out a little bit and let them see the kitchen. You'll see that we have granite countertops, and we're waiting on the backsplash material to come in. Even on the other side of the refrigerator, we have granite, and we're just gonna try to spruce the place up a little bit, okay? I honestly couldn't stand that ceramic tile countertop. I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago, but anyway, I was going to wait to do another food video, but I said, look, let's get it going because I'm ready to cook and I want to eat this. So today, what we're going to be making is a dish that Pam and I have eaten several times at Olive Garden, and it's called chicken gnocchi soup. Chicken gnocchi soup is supposed to have real chicken. So I cut up about 5 or 6 chicken thighs, and that's what we have here, about 3.5 to 4 cups of cut up chicken thighs, and I'm going to put this back in the fridge. So here's what we're going to put in our soup. We have onion. I have a white and red onion. We're even going to put some green onion in. I have 2 small ribs of celery that I diced up kind of fine. And I'm going to show you how I cut up my carrot in a little bit. Now we also have some spinach, and I only want to use about 2 cups or whatever this amounts to, but it's cut up spinach. So I'm going to cut it up. I took the stems off, and yes, I'm going to cut it up fine. Now we grow basil in our garden, so we picked a handful. And that's about what we're going to use, some fresh basil. And I'll tell you, if you haven't grown basil in your garden, it is amazing. The aroma that comes off of this stuff is absolutely amazing. So we have, we're going to be using butter, real butter, some heavy whipping cream. We have Parmesan cheese. This is fresh grated. I grated it myself. And we have the gnocchi, the little potato, let's see, what do we call those? Potato gnocchi. That's what it's called. And we got those at the grocery store. You're supposed to boil them for about 3 or 4 minutes before you use them. However, because we're going to be putting them in a soup, we're just adding them in at when we need them at the right time. And we're just going to let that boil in for 15-20 minutes, and it'll be ready to go. So all that being said, I don't know if I mentioned the garlic. This is like a whole head of garlic. And then let me say this too. We're going to start off with about 4 strips of this smoky bacon. So we're going to cut the bacon up, and we're going to start frying it down. In the meantime, I'm going to start cutting everything up, and we're going to put the soup together. By the way, back here on the stove, I took all of the chicken parts because I bought the legs and thighs. You get that pretty cheap. And I separated the legs and the thighs, and I deboned the thighs, and I took everything that didn't wind up in this bowl, and I put it in a pot along with the trimmings of the onion and the carrot and a little garlic maybe, and I just threw it all in there and with some water, and I made chicken stock. So that's boiling on the stove, and that's going to be my stock. I'm not making it from a box. So everything's going to be fresh. It's going to be wonderful. So let me get everything kind of put away, and I'm going to start off by cutting a few things, and then we're going to fry our bacon down. Okay, here's my spinach. This is what I want it to look like. So here's how I do it. I just grab my spinach and roll it up a little bit, as much as I can, and then I just cut it like this. And then I'll bring it together and I'll go the opposite direction. Pull it together, chop it. It's really easy to make chopped spinach. All right, let's go ahead and cut up our onion. We have some red here. I'll cut up the white onion now. Okay. All right. Cut the carrot in half again, and cut it up in little pieces. To cut the bigger part of the carrot, what we're going to do is cut it up in little fingers, and we'll just go ahead and cut that up like that. And I'll finish up this carrot, and we'll get to cooking. All right, let's go ahead and cut up the garlic. Almost forgot about that. So we'll cut this garlic up, mince it. I want to mince the garlic. When I mince garlic, I like to cut it up, kind of a coarse cut at first, and then I'll pull it together and just rock my knife like this and get it back together and just continue mincing. I like my garlic fine. That way, you know, you don't get a big chunk of garlic in your mouth when you're eating your soup. Let's go ahead and chop up the green onion, get that done. That way we'll have everything cut up. You know, I think eating a good soup is it's healthy. It's healthy for you. So anyway, pull off about 4 or 5 strips of smoky bacon and cut it up fine. You know, cut it up in little small chunks like this, little small pieces, and it'll fry faster. And then you can pull the bits out and reserve them for later, because we'll put them back in. Okay. All right, well, I already started heating up the pot. We're getting ready to put that in. Let me wash my hands up and then I'll be right back. Okay, let's get the bacon in the pot. So we'll just let this go for a few minutes and we'll render it down and then we'll come on back. Can you see how brown that bacon is right now? All right, that's how we want it. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out. Okay, so the bacon's out, and now I want to go in and fry up our chicken. Because I just want the chicken to be cooked a little bit. I don't want to put the chicken in my soup raw. So here I go, cooking the chicken a little bit in that bacon grease. I mean, really, look at the flavor you're introducing into this soup. We're going to be using some Paul Prudhomme's Poultry Magic. It doesn't have a lot of added things in it to keep it from clumping up. So I like, you know, it's more of a pure spice. That's why I like it. So I'm just going to add that in right now. I'll probably add a little bit more in later because I want it to have a little flavor. So you can see how the chicken has gone from being pink to having that cooked look about it. It's never going to be super white like chicken breast, but you can tell that it's cooking and it's releasing some liquids. That's fine. We'll just go maybe another minute for that, and then we're going to take the chicken out, put it in this bowl, And then we'll add a little butter and we'll start sauteing the veggies. The chicken's out, pulled all the chicken out. It's in this little bowl right here. And now we're heating this pot back. But one thing that we do need is a couple of tablespoons of butter. We're gonna melt that down. Now that's all about the flavor. It's not just about needing the fat, but we do need a little fat because now we're gonna go in with our onion. Now, you know, up north, when they make a soup, or in other parts of the country, not down in South Louisiana, they don't use the same mirepoix that we use. So their trio is onions and carrots and celery. And then a little garlic for some flavor. And that's what we're putting in. So we had the onions, the celery, the carrots, the garlic, and I'm even going to introduce the green onion. And that's why we had to have a little extra fat. And we're going to saute this for maybe 10 minutes. Let me get a little pepper, a little bit of salt, not much. You know, be careful with your salt. Salt's a good flavor. It brings the flavor out in your food, but remember, we're using Parmesan cheese and it's got plenty of salt in it again, so you don't want to have too much salt. Now that's what I do like about the Paul Prudhomme's seasoning is that there's not a lot of salt in it. So I will sprinkle in a little bit more. I usually measure all of my spices and I tell you exactly what's in it, but you know, I'm probably only using a total of a teaspoon. Okay, so remember what I said. We're going to saute this for about 10 minutes. I'm going to lower the heat down just a touch. I don't want to burn anything. Now, when this is finished, then we're going to be adding in some homemade chicken stock, which I have on the stove. I'm going to bring it over here. It's going to be really good. And then we'll add in the milk, the cream. I didn't bring the milk out, but I forgot to show you the milk, but that's okay. Milk, cream, the gnocchi, the cheese, basil, spinach. It's going to be good. Okay, come on back. Give me about 10 minutes. When you're sauteing, you're going to need a little time to get the carrot soft, and then you'll notice it starts to dry up. Well, your chicken is releasing fluids, liquids, the whole time it's setting up, so you can just tip that over, and I've already put a whole bunch of it in there, and I'll just leave that little piece of chicken in. But that's where you see the extra liquid from, because I put some of the liquid from the chicken back in. Now I'm going to turn the fire up. We're going to heat it up again really good. And I'm going to come over with my chicken stock. Okay. All right, here's how we get the stock in. Now, the stock has been cooking for well over an hour, maybe two. So what we're going to do is take this strainer and stick it down in the stock, and then we'll just take and ladle out. Now this is 8 ounces. That's why I love using this. It's 8 ounces of chicken stock. So every time I put my ladle in, it's another cup of chicken stock. Okay, so that's 2 cups. Three cups. Okay, now we're making a soup, so we need some stock. So we have a total of 4 cups of really good chicken stock in there. And now, let's put in, ooh, look at that boil I got going there. Let's put in maybe 2 cups of milk. And we'll thicken it up a little bit with a cup of cream. So look at that, how pretty. I'm going to kick that fire up a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my spinach. You know, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut my basil up. So I'm going to roll it up. Does that smell good? It's amazing. The basil's in. So we're going to let this come back to a little boil here. And when we do, I'm going to put the chicken in. I'm going to put in my bacon. I couldn't resist. Delicious. Then we'll put in the gnocchi, gotta say it right. And then we'll taste it for flavor. And be ready to eat. We're gonna simmer it for about 15 minutes after we get the gnocchi in. But I'm bringing it back up. So let's give it a few minutes. Come back up, and when it starts to bubble, we'll put the chicken in, bacon, we'll finish it up. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Ooh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Coming back up to a boil. So let's put the chicken in. Get all the chicken back in there, all the goodies, all the liquids. The bacon will go back in. Oh man, look at that bacon, huh? Beautiful. And we're gonna add in this whole package. You know what, before I do that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and add in a handful of Parmesan cheese. Let me do that. Oh man, look at this, huh? That's a good cup and a half. I'm not measuring it. You know why? It's not that critical. You can put as much or as little as you like. But we're gonna let that parm melt down, and when it comes back up, we'll go ahead and put the gnocchi in, and then we'll simmer it for about 15 minutes. And it'll be ready to eat. Oh, I can't wait. Let me see. Needs a little salt. Okay, it's coming back up. Now we're going to put in the gnocchi. Okay, I think I got a better idea. We're going to put that in a bowl here. So just carefully drop your gnocchi in so it doesn't splash all over the place. And then we'll turn it down and we'll simmer. And we're going to go for about 15 minutes. And I know it's going to be terrific. Let me taste it real quick. Oh, that little added salt really did the trick. So come on back. Give me about 15 minutes. We'll simmer this down. We'll clean everything up, and we'll show you how good it tastes. Well, the soup has simmered now for 15 minutes, and it is just thick enough. You know what's really nice about this? I didn't have to add any flour to get that thickness. And I've tasted it 2 or 3 times just to make sure I have enough spices in it. And I did add another whole teaspoon of Poultry Magic by Prudhomme. It's good stuff. You can use whatever you like, but that's what I use, and I just can't wait to get a bowl of this. So let me go ahead and get a bowl of this so I can taste it. Oh man, it smells so good. The aroma is it's right on. You know, I'll tell you what I see. And I'm not trying to dog another restaurant or another chef or anything. I know that they do what they do because it's their recipe. But I love having some chicken and some spinach and some carrots that I could see. Not little bitty scraps of pieces that, you know, barely, I mean, and most of it's broth. So this to me is chicken gnocchi soup, and I can't wait to taste it. It is piping hot. Now let me tell you, you can throw in a little parmesan on top. Now this is freshly grated. And here we go. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is amazing. Really amazing. And it's hot too, I can hardly hold it. So I love being able to get the spinach and the chicken and a gnocchi on my spoon all at the same time. It just looks heavenly. It's good for you too. I mean, all those good veggies and the chicken stock. Oh, by the way, on the chicken stock, I did take out some of the fat. It floated to the top, so I removed some of that. I think you can do the same thing. Cheers. Oh my God, that's so good. Serve this to your guests and your family. They're gonna love you. They're gonna love it, I promise you. This is some of the best chicken gnocchi I've ever had. So guys, do yourself a favor. Get this recipe and make this. This is really, really good. If you like our video, hey, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. By the way, we have reached over 2,500 subscribers, and I'm thrilled that I'm able to stand here and tell you that, because when we first started, I never would have believed that we'd have had over 2,500 subscribers. But thank you guys so much for being our subscriber, and for the new ones that are coming in, hey, thank you so much. I hope you make this recipe, enjoy it, have a great weekend, and as I always say, God bless you.